Thank you so much for sparing time for this interaction, sir. To start off with, how do you see IT adding to the growth of your sector in general and your enterprise in particular?
Well, in life insurance industry, IT is playing a huge role in driving growth. Our strategy around IT for life insurance is enable our customers first. So more and more people are going to buying insurance online. We have seen that grow, and according to BCG, it's going to grow 10 times by 2020. So that's an area of focus for us. The other one is enable our sellers. Okay, so a lot of people, advisors who are on the ground are in the branches. Insurance is a very sophisticated product. Sometimes it's very difficult for the customer to understand, the seller to understand, and therefore through use of IT and gamification and a good UI UX, we are able to bring better understanding around what the product is about and are able to assimilate the need of the customer more, and therefore be able to give what the customer actually needs. So that's enabling through the seller. IT is playing a huge part. And the third piece, of course, is general productivity of the employee and the organization. At least in Max Life, when we look at IT cost, we always look at it in the in the context of organization cost. So the organization is not shy about investing in IT to bring down the overall cost of operations. So while our revenue might grow by 10-15%, the cost would most likely is going to grow by 2, 4 or 5% because we are digitizing the processes behind. So IT is playing a huge role both growth-wise of the top line as well as the bottom line.
Sir, mobility is looked upon as a force multiplier in the BFSI space.
Okay.
How are you leveraging mobility in your organization?
Yeah, I think part of that answer was given in the earlier question. As I said, life insurance is a business that is done on the field. Customers really walk into the branches, and we want the ability to be able to reach out to the customers where they want us to be rather than where we want the customers to be. So enabling our sellers with mobility is absolutely key. I mean, there was a time 2 years back when, if the customer had a complaint, wanted to check NAV, the advisor had to come back to Max Life office, make a phone call, find the NAV, go back to the customer, call the customer, and you can't survive with that those kind of processes. So to be able to sell to the customer and service the customer on the field, mobility is playing an important part. Secondly, from an employee perspective, as I explained earlier, employees' productive time is while they are there at their desk with their laptop and desktop. Perhaps you're only using 60 to 70% of what they're really capable of doing. So by enabling anytime, anywhere, any device for the employees, we will be seriously not only uplifting their productivity, but also improving their work-life balance. Right? So it's a win-win for both employees as well as the enterprise. So business mobility is absolutely key.
Right. But what challenges did you encounter in implementing mobility, A, and B, what do you suggest to other CIOs who are looking to leverage mobility?
Okay, there are many. The challenges, I wouldn't say what challenge did I encounter, what challenges am I encountering. Okay, first one is just the sheer number of devices. The proliferation of devices from a 3-inch screen to 2-inch screen to up to a 7, 10, 12, 13, 14-inch screen, Android, Windows, now you're talking about Cyanogen, you're talking about Apple Watch. Just the number of devices and the explosion of the type of devices is a huge challenge, right? The second one, which CIOs are going to face very soon, is that very soon they're going to have a bunch of apps that they have to manage. Today they are starting with 2, 3, but very soon an enterprise might have 100 or 150 apps. 2-3 years down the line, how do you manage that? Security, huge challenge, especially with so many devices. Data privacy, another challenge. And last but not the least is usability, right? There are things that are usable on a 3-inch screen, there are things that are not usable on a 3-inch screen. So addressing the usability needs, information security needs, data privacy needs, keeping up to date with the devices and the operating systems are some of the challenges that we are encountering.
So how would what would be your suggestions for other CIOs looking to leverage mobility?
First thing is start working on separating out your presentation layer from your core systems. If your core systems, if your presentation layer is tightly coupled with your core systems, you're not virtualizing, you're not building that wall between the presentation layer and the services and the data, you'll have huge security challenges. So application virtualization, desktop virtualization, and service-oriented architecture, where you're locking down your services behind a firewall, is extremely important when you think about mobility. Usability, UI, UX is another example that you want to think about. And while you might do things in an agile mode, know that eventually you have to work for scalability, maintainability, and security. So a simple function like applying for a leave is easy to build. You can build it in 4 or 5 days. But to build the layer of security, to build the layer of maintainability, to build the layer of scalability and what we call responsiveness, all of these are overheads, but necessary overheads. So pay attention to that.
Right. So finally, RBI has just approved licenses to payment banks. How do you see that impacting the BFSI industry in general and the IT departments or the CIO function in particular?
Yeah, the financial institution penetration in India, whichever statistic you look at, is per capita is just in the lowest quartile globally, right? So the opportunity for financial institutions to penetrate and become more inclusive and to reach out to more of India is just immense. And with this enablement of payment of banks, what I see happening is two things. One is that we're going to reach larger geographies, right? And along with that, it's like a distribution network of Hindustan Liver or Unilever or P&G reaching, and then others riding on it, right? So life insurance companies and others are going to ride on this distribution network that is going to get created and be able to leverage this. So the reach is going to increase. The other thing that is going to happen, and this is extremely important, you will see more and more products that are simple and micro in nature, like the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Yojana, I think it's called PMJJY, where with a certain amount you get a cover of 2 lakhs. It's a simple product. It's a micro product. So and its profitability or is in the scale. So you will see that instead of insurance companies coming out with 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 rupees premiums, the premiums are going to be sub 100, sub 500, so on and so forth. And at least there some part of the industry is going to move towards what I call micro simple products.
So where is the opportunity for CIOs here?
In both of these, when you're reaching geographies, right? How will you reach geographies and you might not even get a 2G connection, right? So how do you, and when you're reaching geographies, would you be able to open, let's say, offices in 2,000 places? No. But you still want to be reachable to the customer and reachable by the customer, and the only option you have is technology, right? So when you talk about the geographical reach, absolutely, technology is going to play a huge role in that. The second, when I talk about micro products, imagine the scale, imagine the design, and in BFSI, IT is the product. Whether it's your ATM card, debit card, or your bank account, it's all technology. It's really technology sitting there. So we're going to be a very, very integral part of that.